Hi, I'm Drea and welcome to Vermilion Lane. Today we are going to be making pulled corned beef sliders and I am here to tell you they are even better than they sound, so let's get started. So that is 1 bottle of ginger beer. This is approximately 12 ounces. Any ginger beer that you like will do. Okay, we're going for a heaping tablespoon of garlic. Minced, smashed, whatever works. Just get it really nice and tiny because we want all that flavor, but we don't want to bite into garlic. Next, I'm going for a 1/4 cup of honey. You can spray your container if you want all that honey goodness to come out really easily. But I happen to have this rubber spatula here that does the job. We want the meat to drink up all these flavors. Any spicy mustard would do. A whole grain mustard would be amazing. I just don't happen to have it, but that's actually my favorite to use in this dish. Now this is different and I'm telling you it's gonna make all the difference. I've got a Cara orange, which has sort of the flesh color of a grapefruit. It's kind of a pinkish orange. And it's really nice and sharp, but at the same time sweet. Now I'm eyeballing it, but just listen up because I'll tell you everything that I'm doing. These are red pepper flakes and we're gonna go for a 1/2 teaspoon of those. I'm also gonna go for a 1/2 teaspoon of celery seed. This is actually a really big bay leaf, so I'm gonna just do 1, but normally I do 2 small bay leaves. And then just for a note of smokiness in the background, I've got some ground Chipotle chili. And that is gonna go in at a teaspoon. Okay, so I'm gonna top off my corned beef just until it is barely covered. Then I'm gonna go in with those pickling spices. If you're not familiar with what pickling spices are, fret ye not, because all you have to do is buy the corned beef and they're right in there in the package. So now I just wanna make sure that everything gets nicely incorporated. Notice that my meat is fat side up, and that's because I want the meat to drink all that fat up as it cooks away. Now this to me is one of the most important seasonings to go in, and that is curry powder. I'm using a yellow curry powder here, and this is gonna be about 1/4 cup. Now people are funny when it comes to curry. Some people find it to be a little too sharp of a flavor. If that's the case for you, just go for some cumin, go for some paprika, and just, cater to your own taste. But I find that curry and ginger beer really complement one another beautifully in this dish. So now we're gonna turn up the heat all the way to high and let this sucker get to boiling so that we can be well on our way to our corned beef sliders. Just as our corned beef begins to boil, we want to take a bunch, which is about anywhere from 4 to 5 sprigs of thyme, and place those into our water. And then dial that heat down to low. We're going to let this simmer on low for 3 hours until the meat is incredibly tender and all of the flavors of ginger beer and honey and Cara oranges, thyme, and especially curry have infused into the meat. So this has been simmering for exactly 3 hours. The aroma is amazing. So I'm going to take this out and put it on a cutting board to rest. I'm not going to mess with it for 15 to 20 minutes because I really want it to be cool enough that the juices have begun to completely marry within the meat. We are going to start with a 1/2 cup of mayonnaise. We're going to follow that up with just a tiny bit of pepper and a little bit of salt. We're talking just a few rounds of it. I'm using a Himalayan pink sea salt. So 1 really heaping tablespoon of honey. And now you're about to find out why we need all that honey. Let's stir it all together. We need all that honey because we're doing an equal part of horseradish sauce. In order to mimic some of the flavors that we have going on in our corned beef, we're gonna do a tablespoon of that hot mustard. I'm gonna do just about half the juice of half a Cara orange, if that makes sense. Not all of it. I'm not juicing the whole thing. And what I should have done before I juiced it was give it just a little hint of the zest. Not a lot. A little goes a long way. Remember, we're not cooking this. So you see that zest there? That is, we're talking like a 1/16 of a teaspoon. Just a tiny amount to brighten things up but not overpower. I really like for this sauce to be a little looser than a traditional aioli or mayonnaise. And I want that because I want the meat to just sort of drink it up when we pour it over those unbelievable sliders that we're going to be assembling in just a few minutes. Finally, a 1/4 tablespoon of our curry. Now my family likes to go heavy on the curry flavor. If yours doesn't, or you're feeling a little shy or not so sure about it, make it a 1/4 teaspoon. Oh my gosh. So of course we want to give it a taste. Oh my God. It is perfect. Literally couldn't be better perfect. This is pretty easy peasy, but you want to follow one cardinal rule, and that is that you keep as much meat as you can and get rid of as much fat as possible. So I'm just taking my shredding forks here, which are 2 just very basic dinner forks. So on most cuts, you'll find that there's a sort of a dividing line in the middle of your corned beef. It may look a little yucky, but you know, cooking is not for the faint of heart. It looks grody now, but let me tell you, it flavored our meat so beautifully, all this fat. Okay. Let's tint our fat because it's so gross looking. And let's go about the business of shredding. So you're gonna pull toward opposite directions, and then after you get a really good shred, you're simply gonna put it in a bowl. Your serving bowl, where people can make their own corned beef sliders if that's how you're gonna arrange it, or this is gonna be the bowl that you use when you go about assembling these sliders for your family and guests. And here I've got some slider-sized ciabatta. I like to butter them up with a little melted butter and my pastry brush. Then, for a little surprise, just to keep all of our flavors just kind of going together, remember that pink Himalayan sea salt? I just do the slightest dusting of sea salt on each, and it just brings out that nice briny taste of our corned beef. So for each, I'm going to take a dab of my delicious horseradish aioli, curried horseradish aioli, then a nice pinch of my meat, and sort of like pasta, you're going to have to twist it around to keep it where it belongs, right in the middle of your bread, and then just another dribble right on top, and it really drinks all this in, and everything's warm. Honestly, how good does that look? And you get to munch along the way, that's the best part. You can put a piece of Swiss underneath this. You can add pickled onions, pickles, just about anything. Oh my gosh, I love these. One of my favorites. Thanks so much for watching. You guys made my day. I hope that this dish helps to make yours. See you soon, and please don't forget to subscribe on the way out. Bye guys.